In the last 3 years, the rate of Nigerian scam victims in the United States alone has increased to over 300% and about 150% in some European countries. And these are the most hit regions in the last 3 years. So the big question is, why is this? Why is this happening exactly? So in this video, I'll be explaining why Americans and Europeans are the main targets for Nigerian and Indian scammers. So before I start the video, let me just state this disclaimer: scamming other people is bad and no one should justify it, not for any reason. And again, this video is basically for educational purposes. Well, if you think it's obvious or perhaps you have an answer to this question, pause your video right now and type your answer in the comment section. As the video progresses, we would get to see just about how right you are. Perhaps if you are as lost as I was when I was first asked this question. Also, just pause the video and take a wild guess in the comment section below. Now, trust me, it's no news. Most scammers are attributed to either being from Nigeria or from India. Well, you're not entirely wrong if you thought so or felt so. In the past and even till now, the statistics of online scams and cyber fraud have been linked to Indians and Nigerians, majorly seeing over $2 billion worth of dollars being lost in online and cyber fraud. So most Nigerian scammers are known majorly for their prowess in social engineering tactics, while for the Indians they are known for being techie or having those technical knowledge and the ability. And so the Indians get to use tech scams and all these hacking techniques to scam individuals, while for the Nigerian scams they make use of online dating, inheritance scams, charity scams, and other social engineering related scams. So now there are three major reasons why Americans and Europeans are the main targets for Nigerian and Indian scammers. The third reason perhaps is the major reason for the continuation of and the increase in these scams. So without wasting more time, the number one reason is majorly world/country classification. So around the world, every country falls under a major world or country classification, such as the first world, the second world, the third world, and even lately the fourth world country, as you might call it. So the world map you can see has been classified as the first, the second, and the third world. The map shows countries of the first world in green, the communist states in red, and the third world in yellow. European neutral states are in white. Well, let me not bore you with the details. The third world basically is used to describe the poorest population of countries, almost like describing the underdeveloped countries. The second world is majorly for the middle class or developing countries, in simple explanation. Finally, the first world is majorly for developed countries like US, Luxembourg, Canada, Switzerland, Iceland, Norway, and so on. Looking at the map, India, Nigeria, some nations in Africa, Asia, Latin America all fall under the third world country. So with this classification in mind, most of these classified individuals feel a first world country as listed should be a place to get a reasonable amount of money in an online or cyber fraud. So with high poverty rate in these countries, it's almost a run to and a struggle to survive, and some deem it fit to get these funds and means of survival from a first world country and or what they call a developed country like USA and others. So this is one of the main reasons why you see most Americans getting scams or being the target of most of these scammers. So but was this part of what you guessed? Did you guess this right in the comment section? Number 2, high currency value conversions. I think it would be quite illogical for a scammer to pull a cyber fraud or a scam on a country with lesser monetary value to the country of his residence. Or what do you think? Seeing and comparing the highest currencies in the world to be the US dollars, the British pounds, euros, Canadian dollars, and so on, scammers definitely would crave for such conversions. For example, this is what the different conversion rates to Nigerian naira looks like. This is the US dollars to naira. This is the British pounds to naira. This is the Canadian dollars to naira, the euros to naira, and also UAE to naira, just to mention a few. So keep in mind that all these countries are tagged first world countries or developed countries, like I stated earlier. They still have high currency conversion rates in comparison to other first world countries who necessarily are not targets or major targets for scammers. Likewise, comparing Indian rupees to these first world countries, they look like this also. So I guess you quite understand me. The scammers would love to get money from these countries and spend it in their countries, as it will amount to something bigger, or should I say more valuable. Now, moving on to the final reason why Americans and Europeans are the major targets of Nigerian and Indian scammers. Number 3, population. One would think that America is the richest country in the world. Well, far from it. Though America can be classified as one of the richest countries, it is still under countries like Luxembourg, Switzerland, Ireland, and Singapore. However, America, as a first world country, has the most population in all of the so-tagged first world country. So some of these other first world countries have more money than America. So places like Luxembourg, Norway, UAE, they have more money, technically speaking. But they have a rather small population. That's why scammers hardly target them. Because if you scam someone in Luxembourg today, it shouldn't be more than a week before another scammer approaches that particular person, and then it's quite obvious already, and then no one will fall for a scam that has been used on him or her. So a country like America has, however, been targets to scammers because they have a high population rate, and looking at the reasons stated, America fits into the first point, the second one, and this third one, which is population. So this might be a funny statement to make, but for Americans in general to be off the radar of scammers, they need to do these 3 things. 1, they have to find a way of not being tagged first world country or a developed country. The second one, their currency rate is in relation to these scam prevalent countries has to drop to the barest minimum or almost equal in value. So if the American dollars is equal to value to the naira, perhaps the scammers will see no need of scamming these countries, because what's the need of doing that? And the last one finally is they have to have a lesser population. Somehow Americans' population has to maybe go down to as small as 100,000 or 500,000 people. Impossible, right? So Americans or America as a country will always remain targets for scammers. However, the only way to prevent or curtail this will be awareness and knowing the recent scam tricks, knowing the best online safety practices, and every form of knowledge that can be passed across in grassroots levels, in schools, and every other platform available. Let me just state something really important in all this ramble. Not all Indians, not all Nigerians are scammers. Perhaps I should have said this first though. So though the tag might not change soon, the general mindset should, so that no country is being labeled as a country for scammers. So there you have it. Did you get any of these? What do you have to say about this? Just drop your comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Here at SC Cyber Safe, we talk on online safety, digital safety, and also expose the latest scams and tricks used in Nigeria and all over the world. So I will restate this again. Scamming other people is bad, and no one should justify it, not for any reason, not for being poor, not for being stranded, not for any reason.